everyone. I'm young adult author Mary Gray of MaryGrayBooks.com, and I'm here today with the multi-genre author Katie Coughran. And I said Coughran right?
Yes.
Yes.
It's perfect.
So, Katie's books are very distinct and different, which I love. It shows that she has lots of different talents. She has the YA fantasy Inheritance of Flame, the Broden and Cookie chapter books, and Happy Scoops, a clean and quirky romance. And I actually met Katie last summer while I was visiting at my husband's parents' place, and Katie surprised me by saying, "Oh, I read your book," and I was like, "Oh, really?" And she asked me about ideas I had for her because she had written a young adult fantasy. And so when I thought I was giving her all these great ideas, we were actually laying the foundation for both of us to go the indie author route. And Katie just kind of jumped in there before I did and said, hey, come over here. And I was like, no, I want legitimacy. I have to go the traditional route. And then she kind of was like, well, okay, have fun with that. And then I said, never mind, I'm coming. And so Katie has been a really great example to me of that, shifting that mindset. And so that's why I've invited her here today to share with us how she's been able to make that shift.
Well, thanks for inviting me.
Yes, of course.
No, when I met you, that was really a big deal for me. I hadn't really met very many other authors, and when I met you, I was like, oh, it's Mary Gray, and I was so excited. And I had just finished like the millionth draft of Inheritance of Flame, so that was really important. That was a very important step in my journey. And I did. I kind of had both of those paths laid before me at the exact same time. I met you and you'd gone the traditional route, and I really wanted that. I wanted to have a publisher behind me. I wanted to have editors telling me and helping me with my covers and all that sort of thing. And it was so appealing. And I actually did get picked up by a publisher, but that didn't work out. And then I was so depressed, and I sought out other paths because I didn't know how many times I could go through rejection. And so it's horrible.
Yeah.
So I found Joanna Penn at that time, and that was really something that just opened my eyes and made me feel so empowered. And so that summer, I really was able to see kind of clearly, for me anyway, both paths of indie or traditional. And just for the sheer control, I went indie, and I do feel like it really empowers authors to get out the message that they really want to get out.
Yes.
I feel a lot of times that editors don't necessarily, they are awesome and they're important, yes, but sometimes they don't have the same vision of what a story actually means as an author. So I'm really happy with my choice.
Yeah, and one thing I found, I went the traditional route with Dollhouse Asylum, and I had been working really hard to find a place for my upcoming Our Sweet Guillotine, and I was spending lots of time, stalking editors and looking for what their tastes are and what they're interested in, and seeing how I align, and maybe trying to befriend them a little bit, or going to conferences and meeting these people. And meanwhile, years are passing by, and I'm like editing, and I have really worked on my craft for years and years, learning what makes a great story and what makes a great voice and all these different things, and world building and all these really fascinating things about writing that I love. But the thing that you've helped open my eyes to with independent publishing is it's all on you. And it's actually very exciting because you're writing, and then you're reaching out to your audience, and you're writing, and you're learning about content marketing, or these videos, that's what this is, or I don't know, these other different things. It's exciting because you're not like waiting around for the, oh, okay, yeah, you can maybe do that, an email like a week later or something.
Yeah,
it's all you, and I like it.
I like it too.
Yeah.
Well, one thing as soon as I saw a royalty statement, I was thinking, how do traditionally published authors go about their life not knowing what that statement says for like 6 months? That was what my original contract said that I would see a statement every 6 months.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, it is motivating to see that. It tells me, wow, it looks like people are able to follow this strategy that I'm trying, or this one isn't really working out so well. Yeah. And I love that because I do feel like I have a good message, and I feel like people will enjoy reading it. And if they're not seeing it, though, they can't find it. So right. I love that aspect of the marketing. I think every author has to do it, but I think every author doesn't know that they have to do it.
Right. You've mentioned that you have gotten help from Joanna Penn, and I was wondering what other resources you've been able to use to make that shift to decide to independently publish.
I have really enjoyed lots of webinars. I homeschool, and like you and every other person,
Oh, I don't homeschool, but I do have kids.
Yes, yes. No, no, no. I'm busy. So,
Yes.
yeah, we're busy, and so I take as many online courses as possible. And Nick Stevenson's Reader Magnets, and um, let's see, I can't think. Chandler Bolt has another book out. There have been a few other authors that publish both nonfiction as well as fiction, and their courses have really, really helped me out a lot. Nick Stevenson, in particular, has helped me to realize you really do need something that is free to get people to see you and get people to try you. I'm an unknown author, really, and so I do need people to be able to have an easy way to find me and to just give it a try without a risk.
Yeah,
And
because it is such
that's
a
been really important.
yes, because it is such a flooded market to be able to stand out in
Yes.
some way and give somebody a taste. He gave that idea. He did, or Joanna, somebody did, about, it's like offering a free sample at a grocery store and then you eat it. Oh, maybe I do like this. I'll try some more, sort of. And then
Definitely.
we met each other actually at church. And
Yeah.
one of the things I didn't mention in my original video was that while I was like praying and deciding what to do, actually, we go to a church, we have a temple, and I had this just like distinct thought in my mind that instead of, following the Lord's path of, down the traditional route, which is what I've always wanted, I wanted in that very moment, I had this kind of image in my head of forging my own path. And I'm like, no, that's not what I want. I want like to trot along the known. I'm not very risk driven, and it was just very clear. And I, for the first time going to the temple, like my answer was to just feel brave and emboldened and like, I can do this. And on the drive home, I'm talking to my husband and I'm all, that's not what I wanted, but at the same time being really excited too. And I knew I had people like you in my corner and I could be like, well, if Katie can do it, I can do it, So my question is, have you been able to like rely on your faith at all to help you in this shift to independent publishing?
Oh, that is such a good question. Yes, I will tell you, I had an agent's webpage in my phone browser for about 3 months. And that was the thing. Like when I found that webpage for that agent, I just had this feeling like you need to leave this up. And I didn't know why. This agent is like huge, one of the top 10 in the US. I was like, this agent will never pick me up.
Oh.
But, and she did. She gave me a rejection letter. But every time I saw that, it made me motivated to write. And so it got me through writing Inheritance of Flame. And even though that wasn't my path, I have seen things like that where I listened to just little promptings and just feelings.
Yeah.
And they have taken me to the next place that I needed to go. I was actually scared to talk to you. I was like,
no.
to talk to people. But I'm so glad that I did. That was an important part of my journey. Choosing to go indie was really, really important, but it was also important to get picked up by that publisher because it validated me. Even though it didn't work out, I never would have written Broden and Cookie because I would have been so focused on, I need to get Inheritance of Flame picked up. I need to get Inheritance of Flame picked up.
Yeah.
So by having that in someone else's hands, even though it was only for a short time, I wrote 2 books during that time for the Broden and Cookie chapter book series.
Yes.
So I have seen his hands in every step of this journey. So I'm for sure grateful for that, and it has influenced me for sure.
Yes, well, thank you for sharing that. And yeah, we all want that validation, and then also we have to remember that we have somebody up there who's willing to help us too, and is willing to give that validation. And like you and I both know, and I've talked to other authors, that there's always something more to learn, and especially going the indie route, there's the business side, but you're your own creative entrepreneur, business person, and it's fun. So anyway, I just want to thank you so much for visiting with me. It means so much, and I look up to you, and I love seeing how much you've been able to produce in so little time, and so that also I'm like, I need to keep up with Katie. So thanks for being a good example.
Very kind. Okay, wait. I want to hear more about Our Sweet Guillotine really fast because I just want to know how you got that idea because it's fascinating me, and I've been thinking about it ever since you told me.
Oh, you're so kind. I just have always had a sick fascination with the guillotine. I've always kind of liked, creepier things, and I'd been to France when I was a teenager, and anytime I see a movie like Jane Eyre or any like Pride and Prejudice. I love just like the ambiance and the historical vibe and seeing the elaborate costumes and their speech and different things. So I'd always wanted to do a historical, and I'd read a couple of books that really just like gave me stars in my eyes. I just really wanted to write one, but I knew it would be so hard. And I was just like, but this is what I love, and there aren't enough young adult historical books out there, and I'm going to write one, and everybody's going to want it. Well, I did have, like you, I had an offer from a publisher, but I didn't end up going with them. And then, I worked with my agent for a while, and we looked for another publisher, and that didn't work. But I'm actually, by the time this video airs, I'll have shared the cover reveal for that one, for Our Sweet Guillotine. So, and of course, I'm looking for advanced readers for that. So, thanks for asking. So, anybody who's looking for Katie's books, go to katiecoughrand.com. And remember, she has chapter books, so that's like for your elementary school age, and then young adult, fantasy, and then the Clean and Quirky Romance. I was an advanced reviewer for that, and that was super cute because it was about two characters that like dressed up in costumes and they waved signs on the side of the road. That was really cute because sometimes you wonder about those people who are in those positions, like what caused them to take that job. So super cute.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. And we'll see you all around the web. All right, bye.
Bye.